Ranbaxy is a stock in focus, and we're going to be talking about that with the management right now to take an on-ground check as to what's been happening with the kind of accusations that have been made. Mr. Arun Sawhney, he's a CEO and MD at the company. He's joining us in right now to take some questions. So thanks very much, for giving us the time. Let's start off first with, how exactly are you dealing with the accusations that are being made for the company with wrongdoings and fraudulent drugs being put out in the market?
No, I recognize that there were certain shortcomings in the past, but I can also assure you that all those shortcomings have been dealt with. Going ahead, we should not be facing any of those issues again in future. Ranbaxy has been India's #1 company, and we carry ourselves with the responsibility of being a leader in the business. As relating to the US context, let me clarify that there are certain expressions that are used in the US context that are very different from their understanding in India. Say, for example, a word like adulteration. In the US context, a pharmaceutical company is expected to operate under CGMP conditions. CGMP standing for Current Good Manufacturing Practices. In Ranbaxy context, the delayed testing of stability samples was a non-GMP activity. So the data that was used to support the stability studies was a non-GMP compliant data. So the drugs that were on the market based on this data were described as adulterated drugs. Did that make the Ranbaxy drugs in the US adulterated? Did that make them substandard or contaminated or spurious? The clear answer is no. The drugs in the US were of a very good quality. In fact, the US FDA had gone on record to recommend to the patients in the US to continue taking Ranbaxy drugs because they did not find anything wrong with the quality of drugs there.
So another thing that has been questioned is the fact that you went in for that $500 million settlement. I mean, if you hadn't done anything wrong, why would you go in for that? And also, it's probably something that everyone's asking as to how safe are Ranbaxy drugs?
Now, I will answer the first part of the question first. Back then, we had two options, really. We could continue battling with DOJ and keep Ranbaxy blocked for business in the US, or settle with DOJ and move on. We opted for settlement in the best interest of all the stakeholders. Now I come to the second question on safety of Ranbaxy drugs. In the pharmaceutical parlance, let me first clarify how does a drug become safe, especially a generic drug. How does a generic drug become safe? First, safety is built in because a generic drug is a me too of an innovator drug. An innovator already does toxicological studies, safety studies, etc. A generic drug is a bioequivalent drug of an innovator drug. It means that the generic drug behaves in the human body exactly the same way as an innovator drug would behave. With the innovator having done the safety studies, the generic drugs are also deemed to be safe. The second level of safety is built in where the regulators come in. A generic company is required to file dossiers with the regulators giving data on stability, development, etc. relating to the product. They also do bioequivalent studies. The generic company also invites the regulators to come and inspect their plants. So this twin, two-pronged thing of having the dossiers evaluated and having the facilities inspected, and only after that the drugs are allowed to put to the market, ensures that there is a second level of safety of the drugs in the market. The third level of safety is through the doctors. Doctors are very learned people. When we introduce a new drug, we go to the doctors, we explain to them the risks and benefits of a new drug. Learned people like doctors evaluate very carefully the risks and benefits when they prescribe those drugs to the patients. So in the hands of the patient, our drugs would be very safe.
So was Daiichi misled by the ex-shareholders of Ranbaxy?
This is a question I think you should be addressing to Daiichi Sankyo.
All right. Let's talk about the fact that in key hospitals in Mumbai area